Honestly, don't even want to think about how much I've spent on this Frédéric Malle stuff. Hey forum, Manny back here with another video on the CascadeScents fragrance station, and this one is on my top 5 Frédéric Malle fragrances. But as always, before we get on with everything, the goal for this video is 500 likes. If we reach that goal, I'll randomly PM a single subscriber within the comment section below, as you'll be the recipient of an assorted niche fragrance sample pack. You can only enter the contest once per YouTube account, so please do not leave more than one comment. And please make sure that your YouTube account is enabled to send and receive inbox messages, and that you're subscribed if you aren't so already. But anyway, this video is all about Frédéric Malle. If you're unfamiliar with Frédéric Malle and the premise of his brand, he actually has less to do with the actual creative direction of his fragrances, but more to do with supplying some of the best perfumers in the world with the resources to kind of create whatever they want to. So kind of like a book publisher, he styles himself as a perfume publisher rather than a creative director. As someone who appreciates creative, high-level perfumery, I think that's pretty cool. But with that being said, none of these fragrances are cheap. In fact, they're all super pricey respectively, if anything. So like always, but it's extra imperative that everyone follow this time. Try before you even consider buying. But without further ado, let's finally get it, shall we? Here are my top 5 Frédéric Malle fragrances, starting with number 5. Here's GERANIUM pour Monsieur. Now currently, this Dominique Ropion designed, masculine, brazen, almost barbershop-like fragrance is my go-to for casual or smart casual daytime uses. Now, I recently elaborated on what I mean by barbershop in my spring video, but in case you missed that and don't know what I mean by that, I mean GPM has that somewhat old school, clean masculine vibe that you'd find in those shaving creams, soaps, and whatnot at those OG barbershops. Kind of minty, kind of spicy, a little floral, but all together in a great herbal masculine way. So if you're looking for an alternative retro style on masculine freshness, try this out if you have yet to. Again, GERANIUM pour Monsieur, my number 5 Frédéric Malle fragrance. Moving on to my number 4 FM fragrance now, here's Une Rose. Now I love perfumer Edouard Fléchier's approach when it comes to his offerings with Frédéric Malle. We're talking big, natural like florals, and in Une Rose's case, it's none other than with that rose note, of course. But instead of making it come off like a conventional rose perfume, this one to me feels more like the waft I'd get in a rose garden or smelling it directly from its petals. So it's trying to come off as telling that pictorial story rather than smelling like a conventional rose perfume, and I can appreciate that. So along with some tubers for a slightly gothic earthy tinge, as well as some red wine which makes it more fun, if you know what I'm saying, I actually think that Une Rose is a worthy try for anyone seeking a more natural smelling alternative on a wearable rose fragrance. So check this out already if that is you. It's my number 4 FM fragrance, OG formulation, Une Rose. Don't worry though, the current formulation is still worth checking out. Last time I checked, despite not smelling as vibrant, it still had 90%-ish of the longevity when I compared them side by side, so I still think that's pretty good. Moving on, we have my number 3 FM fragrance now. Here's CARNAL Flower. For him, I low-key feel like I need a brazen white floral scent, and this Dominique Ropion creation is what I gravitate towards the most. Now the bread and butter note here is that tuberose with a musky dry down, and in case you're unfamiliar with tuberose, it's a very perfumey, luscious, creamy flower in the air, and it's the kind of sensation where lovers of it find it super pretty, but simultaneously it's the kind of sensation that haters would easily get choked up on. But with that polarizing nature being said, I'll reach for this on the brightest of days when I feel great and I have an I don't give a attitude, which I will have more of real soon with the sun starting to come out now in my area finally. Just gotta watch my spray count with this OG formulation bottle. Stuff is a beast, but hey, again, the slightly worse reformulation is still good too. Again, that about does it for my number 3 FM fragrance, the slightly fruity, creamy, untamed tuberose CARNAL Flower. Now moving on to my number 2 FM fragrance, here's Portrait of a Lady. Now rose and patchouli together are one of the staple accords in perfumery today, which also so happens to be one of my favorites, and with perfumer Dominique Ropion's super high level take on that, it's no surprise to see this stuff almost top the list. Portrait smells like a somewhat bright, smoky rose on top of this bed of patchouli that keeps getting smoother as it goes on. Got a little bit of fruitiness there too to prevent it from going too dark and sensual, so as a result I find Portrait to be just right, just the right amount of sexiness in my head for any woman or man bold enough to rock it for a date or formal night out. So that's when I prefer to use this stuff. Anytime I'm dressed to kill, it's always a great time with Portrait of a Lady. Again, my number 2 FM fragrance. Now before we actually get to my number 1 fragrance, I seldom do this, but I can't help but want to talk about this. Here's an honorable mention. This is DRIES Van Noten for Frédéric Malle. Now unlike every other scent actually on this list, the Bruno Jovanovic creation, DRIES Van Noten is not a dominant floral scent and is actually described by the FM website as an exotic, buttery warmth. Sounds good, right? And I hate to describe something verbatim the way the company would because I would like to come to my own conclusions preferably, but I really cannot refute that description whatsoever. It really is that and more, sweet, spicy, and overall warm, with those cozy notes of vanilla, saffron, and most notably that creamy sandalwood. So DVN definitely fills a void in that FM lineup in having that sandalwood dominant scent there now, and for them it's absolutely gorgeous. In the air, it's very likable, it's unisex, it's versatile, has great performance off of me too, but I actually decided to pick this up because my homegirl in Atlanta turned me onto this one right here. One day we were out and her scent cloud was absolutely gorgeous with this stuff on, so I couldn't help myself, had to cop it secondhand here too. As a result, it's an honorable mention here, but you already know that I love it for the short amount of experience that I've had with this scent. I think I just need more time with it. Again, it's DRIES Van Noten for Frédéric Malle. Try this already if you'll be looking for a high quality signature sweet scent for the cooler weather. But with that being said, we finally reached the top spot. Here we go with my #1 Frédéric Malle fragrance. It's Les MEDITERRANÉE. Simply put, continuing on with Edouard Fléchier's theme of big, outdoorsy, natural-like florals, Les is the kind of picturesque scent that I can't get enough of wearing during the spring and summer months. You have that salty and spicy ginger lily floral opening, followed up by more salty notes which give you a marine feel that's slightly harsh but overall pleasant and breathtaking. Like Les is the kind of scent that just makes me put everything into perspective again and reminds me of why I love this kind of high-level perfumery. Sometimes it's more than just about making stuff for the sake of smelling good. You can also get people to buy into your story scent-wise in a borderline olfactory realism type of way, like in this case, which I love. So that's why it's my #1 FM fragrance. Again, the appropriately named Les MEDITERRANÉE. Try this if you're looking for a casual or smart casual, warm weather daytime scent that is known to perform. Anyway, form, I think that about does it for my top 5 Frédéric Malle fragrances. Yes, I know, lots of floral stuff here, but I already have their other fragrance genres already covered by other brands, and I really can't get all of this high-level botanical stuff from anyone else. So shout outs to Frédéric Malle and Company for producing these gems. Also, I know I mentioned previously that I have some OG formulations before Frédéric Malle became an Estée Lauder company, but nonetheless, despite smelling more fuller and lasting longer here, I don't think you should be spending that much more of an arm and a leg on this stuff, especially when the Estée Lauder, sadly more regulated kind of stuff is still really good. But if you can get some of these OGs from somewhere or someone credible at retail or less, then salute, I am your biggest fan. But hey, we've reached that time in the video where I'd love some of your own feedback, whether you've tried them or not, with what you know, what you think of Frédéric Malle fragrances and his brand overall. Please let me know in the comment section below. And again, if you enjoyed this video or if it made you smile, please like and subscribe if you've yet to. Remember, 500 likes and a random subscriber in the comments gets an assorted niche fragrance sample pack. So help me help you, and until then, salute and thank you for your time as always. Take care for now, peace out, bye. Merry fragrances!